Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and today is a big day. We're going to get into sports in a second, but right now it is all eyes of the country are on the state of Ohio right now. Today is election day. If you have not had a chance to vote, you still have until 7:30 p.m. This is when the polls close, and today is a very important day. Right now, the Republican Party is trying to elevate the amount of they're trying to elevate what you would say the amount of votes that something needs to pass. So this state currently is 50% plus one. Republicans are making it 60% that something would need to pass by. And unfortunately, that would mean that a lot of things can't get on the ballot, especially citizen led initiatives. And it's been a lot of citizen led initiatives that have changed things in Ohio and made it better. One of the initiatives was, Black people being allowed to be in the National Guard. That was something that was voted on and it passed 50% plus one. So things like that. So this will affect abortion rights. It will also affect the legalization of marijuana for recreational use. I believe that is going to be in the ballot in November. To enshrine abortion rights into the state constitution will be on the ballot in November as well. So you just needed a 50% plus one majority to pass those things. Now they're trying to make it 60%. And around the country, abortion rights have been winning by a little less than 60%, around 57%. So, how Republicans are banking on that. So you have to get out and vote to save our democracy. A lot of people say we're a constitutional republic. But, Republicans only can win if they cheat and move the goalposts. And that's exactly what they're doing. And State Secretary Frank LaRose says that this vote is about abortion. And whatever you believe about that topic, people still should have the right to make decisions, medical decisions regarding what is best for them. So that's my PSA for today. Please get out and vote. People die for the right for you to be able to do so. Even if you want to vote yes on issue one, go out and vote because it's important for you to be able to do so. People were beaten, killed, maimed for Black people to have the right to go vote. But I encourage everyone to go out and vote because this issue is very important and it's a national issue as well. So I checked on the internet and I see, all these articles focusing on Ohio and what happens with us will kind of be a blueprint for the rest of the country as well. So hopefully Ohio makes the right decision and allow the 50% plus one to continue to carry on. So citizen-led initiatives can be enshrined into our Constitution, and we have the ability to vote on them. Because why would you want to move it to 60% to pass something? That just makes no sense. So we're going to go ahead and get into our topics for today. Brandy is going to be joining us shortly. One of the things that we got to talk about is what's happening with the Guardians. I have no idea what's happening with this team right now. They have lost 7 of their last 8 games. So, unfortunately, they have not been putting runs on the board. Pitching has been collapsing. The bullpen has not performed well. Yesterday, Gavin Williams got out there and gave you 12 strikeouts, and he actually broke a record. I'm going to pull that up in 1 second, but it was something that's never been done with the Guardians. So he had 12 strikeouts yesterday and set a record. He became the first rookie in 123 years of the franchise to strike out 12 in 0 or 1 walk in a game. So nobody's ever did that before. So that is an amazing stat. So you kind of had hi Mike, how you doing? I did say Brandy, she's going to be joining us shortly. Queen Brandy for you. So she's going to be joining us soon. So make sure you continue to watch. And she'll be coming on. But so Gavin Williams did something that nobody's ever done before, which was a record. So that was pretty awesome. But Angel De Los Santos came in and gave up a home run to the Toronto Blue Jays. That's who we played last night. We actually have a 4-game series with them taking place. So Angel de Los Santos came in and gave up a 2-run home run, and that was pretty much it. Because the Guardians, they were not leading in that game at all. So one of the things is, they struggled to hit the ball. They struggled to hit the ball into play. And towards the end of the game, it was 0-0. So Toronto didn't score until the seventh inning when that home run came. So it was 0-0 for the longest. And, Gavin Williams kept them in that game. And Tito only, well, not Tito, DeMarco only because Tito was not. He was not managing last night. DeMarco Hale was, and DeMarco pulled him out after 7 innings, which is typical. But I think that they should have let him go a little bit longer. I think that would have been a lot better. So that's what happened last night. So right now, the Guardians, I think, are in free fall. I don't know if this is middle finger to management right now, because they traded some locker room guys. They traded some people that's been with the guy. They've traded some people that's been with this team for a few years. There's a lot of camaraderie within that locker room, and guys are very close. You saw that how they came to Jose Ramirez's defense. So this locker room is a very close locker room. So, all for one and one for all. So, I believe that the veterans haven't taken too kindly to the trades that have taken place. So, somebody suggested to me that when it came to Houston, that game where they were no hit, because pretty much Aaron Savali had just got traded, Ahmed Rosario. So so they kind of, said it's whatever. You're not doing what we need to do. You're not putting us in a position to win. There's a whole bunch of people in the lineup that I've never heard of before. Brian Rocchio, Cole, I forgot what Cole's last name was. Oh, Cole Calhoun. He came over from the Angels. Brian Rocchio, I believe, has came up through the farm system. So you got some new guys in that lineup, and I think they're trying to figure out, what to do, and they're getting an opportunity to play, which is good. Cole Calhoun has been in the leagues for about 10 years now, though, so he's used to playing. So other night, there was a loss, and Cole Calhoun accepted responsibility for that loss. So that's something a veteran does. But the Guardians were winning on Sunday, and they allowed the White Sox to come back and score 3 runs. So they were leading 3-2, and they let the White Sox come back in that game in the bottom of the ninth. So I don't really know what's going on with this team, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing. They're 5.5 games out right now. So I don't know if this team has mailed it in mentally as far as their play goes. Jose Ramirez is always going to come out there and give it his all. I think the players possibly are giving them this all, but they're just not a very good team right now. Their longest win streak is only 4 games. Pitching is starting pitching is, everybody's hurt. So you've had to bring in some of these young guys, and they've gave you some quality innings and put you in position to win. But, your bullpen is kind of shoddy right now. So they're struggling. When this team had one of the best bullpens in all of Major League Baseball, they're struggling right now. And that doesn't help, especially when you're in a playoff race, and you're in a playoff race against the Minnesota Twins, which, last night went out and stomped the Detroit Tigers 8-0. So the Twins continue to win, and we continue to lose. So right now we're playing ourselves right out of a playoff position, because I don't know if they can possibly come back. I don't know if they can gain ground and make it to the playoffs with the way that they're playing right now. And so, they're definitely having some problems. It's hard to say that we've talked about this before, but it's hard to say if they're mailing it in right now. I just feel like they're kind of in free fall and they're not going to be good enough to make it to the playoffs right now. With the where they're playing, I only see things going in a tailspin. I do not see this team making the playoffs no matter how hard they try. I just don't think it's going to happen. They won't be in position to get a wild card or anything like that because they're just kind of a terrible team right now. They look like a bunch of rookies and they're not. So, one of the things is if this bullpen isn't performing, they're wasting quality starts. Like last night, for example, you got 12 strikeouts, and that's really hard for a rookie to do. Tristan McKenzie did it in his first season. No, last season he had 14 strikeouts in a game. But I believe his rookie year, I think he had 12 strikeouts as well against Detroit. So that was awesome for him start his career off really well. And, I think Gavin Williams is improving, from his first start on, he's improved a lot. Noah Syndergaard got beat up on Saturday. So he didn't give you any quality innings. He got beat up a little bit on Saturday, the night of the brawl. He gave up like 4 home runs. So that's a lot for a pitcher. So he didn't really have any commands. He didn't really have any control over his pitches. And, he left them over the plate and Chicago took advantage of it, and Chicago really isn't the best team either. So but they've lost more games to Chicago than they've actually won. So check the AL Central right now. And right now in the AL Central, they are 5.5 games behind Minnesota. And right now, they're playing a really good Toronto team who is kind of, I believe Toronto now has 56 wins right now. So that's a really good team that they're playing. The Blue Jays are 64-50, excuse me. So right now, the Orioles are crushing the AL East at 70-42. The Rays, who we play after this series, is 68-46. The Blue Jays are 64-50. The Red Sox are 58-54, and the Yankees are 58-55. So you have some of the best teams coming up. And I think they've played the Orioles already this year. But you have some of the best teams coming up in all of Major League Baseball. So that's not spelling good for the Guardians at all. So the AL Central standings, the Tigers are 10 games out at 49-63. The White Sox are 46-68. And they're 14 games out. And the Royals are 36-78. And they are 24 games behind. So that is how this is shaping up right now. I don't have a good feeling going into Tampa Bay. I believe that's going to be a road game. Let's check and see. I think they're on the road for that next series. But there is some hope. One of the things that if this team doesn't produce runs and their pitching doesn't do what it needs to do, you can look on the bright side is that you've got some rookies up from your farm system and you've given them the opportunity to play at the major league level. So you have a young guys contributing. And unfortunately, it's not like it was last year. Last year, you brought 14 guys up and the majority of them did contribute. You got your Stephen Kwan, you got Oscar Gonzalez back, who had to go down to AAA. So you're doing your best that you can, but you hope that these guys get some experience. George says, how was the hot chocolate? Could have used a win last night. George said hot chocolate was pretty good. It was something that I needed. It was pretty tasty. Mike says, Jose put the pause on Tim. LOL. Go Cubs. Mike, we don't fool with the Cubs around here. We've hated them since 2016. Do I see a Jose Ramirez trade coming at some point next season if the team downfall continues? I don't see a trade. I think Jose Ramirez, he signed that long-term deal. I think that he's a player that you build around. So you build around Jose Ramirez and then you go from there. So I don't see him being traded anytime soon. He's already locked in with money and he could have went somewhere else, but he chose not to stay. He took a hometown discount. I believe he could have made so much more money in free agency, but he decided to stay here. And, this is an organization that he wants to be a part of. And I think a lot of us were really surprised that he did because most people don't stay. They go and take the money. I believe, well, Shane Bieber wasn't traded. I don't think that his trade value was really high with him being injured. So they, really couldn't move him. But I think that, at the end of the season, it might be the end of next season. I think we might have control of him until next season. He's going to leave in free agency and make a ton of money. Right now, he hasn't had the best season, though. He has more losses than he does wins. So it's been very un-Bieber like. So you're not sure if one of the reasons why is he's been hurt or not. But he's been injured. So he's going to be out until at least September. You got Tristan McKenzie out. You had Aaron Savali hurt, but he's gone. He's been traded. Cal Quantrill is out. So 3 of your starting pitchers are gone. So they have to, fill those roles. So they're bringing in young guys and, Noah Syndergaard was brought in, to help as well. So you pretty much are working a 4-man rotation and then, Tanner Bybee. So you have Tanner Bybee as well in that rotation. So, you're scrambling trying to do something to get these wins and, they're trying to get quality pitching and, sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. So you have a offer for Jose. What's the deal that you want to propose? And we'll see if we'll accept it. what's the deal that you have for him? I'm gonna pretend to be his agent and I'm gonna see if we're gonna accept the deal. But yeah, Joe, not Joe, excuse me. George says Jose is our 6 tool player. He has a no trade clause. Okay, so his new 7-year extension. So a trade involving him has to be approved by him. Okay. That makes sense. So no trade clause. I told Mike, I don't think he's going anywhere for some time. So, oh my gosh. So we got to take a quick break, right quick. You're listening to Her in a Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. All right, all right. Welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl Rachel Hill, the first lady of sports, and today is election day. So please go out and vote. The polls close at 7:30, so you still have time. You have a little bit. Oh, you have an hour and 10 minutes. So please go out and vote if you have not did so today. It's so important that you do so. And always remember, you can keep it locked here at 95.9 FM, your regular radio dial. Then you can also download the WOVU app so you can listen on the go. You can listen online at WOVU.org. And you can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. Questions, comments, or concerns. We want to welcome Brandy to the show. Hey, Brandy, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm sure. Hey, Mike, Brandy is here. I'm sure you're happy now. What's up, Dylan? How you doing, Dylan? So Brandy, I don't know if you heard, but I was just talking a little Guardians right now. Do you feel like this team is in free fall?
Um, I think so a little bit. I think, a lot of people noticed it after the trades that they did a week or so ago, getting rid of Savali and Josh Bell. That was kind of surprising for most Guardian fans, especially, losing Savali with already having, our pitchers hurt. So I don't know. I think it's a tough spot to be in because they are, only 4 or 5 games away from winning the division. So it is possible, but you don't necessarily feel that they can win it with the games that they've been losing recently.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the Josh Bell trade. And then he goes out, and I think maybe his first or second game as a Marlin, he hits a home run. So his bat was just heating up right before he got traded. So I'm wondering if, they wanted when it, if they waited for his value to go up a little bit and for him to turn a corner before they decided to trade him. So I was talking about a lot of the players, I believe, were very upset about that trade taking place, and is some of the performance that you have right now due to the fact that those trades were made. Because honestly, I would expected Cal Quantrill to be traded before Aaron Savali. So I guess, they felt like they could get some prospects back for Aaron Savali, but I was really shocked because Cal Quantrill has been stinking it up. In the press box, I heard one of the employees, and I'm not naming no names, say that Cal Quantrill sucks. So yeah, that's a representative of the organization talking about one of the players. So it was kind of funny to me. But, he has been stinking it up, and, he was injured. So, you're wondering if he came back from injury too soon. He had a great season last year, but he has struggled to find success this year. Still kind of mad at Tito for starting him against the New York Yankees. I knew that he was going to go out and lose that game, unfortunately. So I question some decisions that Tito has made in the past. Did you get a chance to watch the game last night?
I did not watch last night's.
Okay, you had a performance by Gavin Williams. He had 12 strikeouts.
I know I did hear about
So he
that.
also
Crazy.
Yeah, he also made history too, because he was the first Guardian slash Indian, well, first Guardian, but this is a record that stands for the former Indians team. Is that he's the first rookie in 123 years of the franchise to strike out 12 and zero or one walk in a game.
I
So
mean, it's good to
that.
hear. I know we've talked about, we wanted to see the younger players, step up and see them progress. So it's definitely good to see, even, looking forward into next season.
Yeah. Hey Jay, what's up, man? Yeah, that was the thing that I was saying right before you came on, is that, the silver lining on this season is you got a chance to play some of your young guys and see what they can do, so what they have going into next year, because I feel like the season is a wash at this point,
Hmm.
which is sad because they're kind of right there in that division race, but I don't think that they're good enough to overcome a 5-run deficit, because a 5-game deficit, 5.5 games behind, so almost 6 games behind. And they kind of got a gauntlet coming up of teams that they got to face. They face, I believe, the Tampa Bay Rays. Right now, Toronto is a good team, so they fell last night after a great performance by Gavin Williams. Angel De Los Santos led um, they let excuse me, the Blue Jays hit a home run, and it was a wrap from there. So, this team isn't really built to come back from behind. I could say last year's team was kind of built that way, but this isn't a team this season, especially when they struggle to make contact with the ball. They struggle to put the ball into play, a lot of singles and stuff like that if they can get it off. A lot of infield hits. So this is a team that right now, the small ball that we're known for kind of isn't working. And this isn't a home run team at all. They are one of the lowest in the league regarding home runs. So, yeah, after this series, they go to Tampa Bay to play Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay is one of the best teams in baseball. So, those are going to be some losses. So then they go to Cincinnati, who has kind of been playing well, and they're in the division hunt against the Milwaukee Brewers, so they're playing pretty well. So those could be some losses. I think, and then they got a series with Detroit coming up, a 4-game series. So they might be able to split that series with Detroit. But even Detroit has been getting the best of the Guardians lately. They had that winning streak against Detroit, like 26 straight games or something like that, when Detroit was really bad. But I think Detroit, wants to, beat the Guardians a couple times. So they might be able to do that. And then after that, they have the LA Dodgers, who I think are doing pretty good in the West. And then they go back to Toronto for a 3-game series against Toronto. And then after that, they have a 3-game series against Minnesota. So what they got, huh?
I said I think the series against Minnesota will be a huge series, especially if we stay as close as they are. And really, Detroit is right behind the Guardians, too.
Yeah, so they're looking for the Guardians to go in a free fall even more. But yeah, they kind of got a gauntlet coming up, and I don't foresee them being able to win a ton of these games coming up. So I feel like they might even slip into 3rd place in the division.
Yeah, I think they could. I definitely agree. How do you feel about having Oscar Gonzalez back up?
He really hasn't done nothing. So he hasn't done much. So I'm just like, okay, he has like 1 home run all season. So, he's struck out a lot. He's struggled to make contact. When he's made contact, it's not really going anywhere. So I think it's great for him to get as much experience as possible. But, he's not having a great sophomore season.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely struggled. I am happy though he's back. He has had, a couple of hits. I'm hoping, I guess I'm glad that they did call him up, so he does have this last 2 month or so of the season to, hopefully find his footing again. And then hopefully next season we'll see him like we saw in his rookie year.
Jay says, I mean, with right hooks like that, anything is possible. Do you feel like that was a lucky punch, Brandy? Because I feel like it was a lucky punch because Jose was just swinging at anything during that fight.
I don't know. He did get him good. It might have been a little bit of luck.
Oh, yeah. Tim went to sleep for a hot second. And then when, he came to, he was all woozy and all that other stuff. So, he got chin checked. Jose got it in, but I heard Jose and Emmanuel Clase shadow box.
Oh,
So, and
well,
then I posted a picture of Faith. Huh?
I said, well, that might
Yeah,
make
so
a little.
yes, right, exactly. So when he was swinging wildly, because he kind of was jumped, by all he was jumped by all the Chicago players. So Jose was like, I appreciate my guys getting in there because it was like one on a couple. So yeah, the guys ran in there to help him out because he was outnumbered initially. So yeah, at the end of the day, it was a punch that knocked Tim Anderson out. But I said if you're gonna throw down your glove and your ball, you better be ready for what comes next. And you get in that stance, the fighting stance. You never know what's gonna happen because Jose said that Tim was like, "Let's fight." So, so
He
yeah,
he
yeah,
threw off mitt so fast. And I heard Jose said how they've had problems before, so
yes.
I guess that's kind of what fueled it all.
Right. And then, there was an issue Saturday night with Tim knocking off Brian Rocchio's hand off the base. And he was originally called safe, and then the call was overturned. So it was a little, tiff about that. And that's what got Tito ejected. So Tito was ejected 2 games in a row. But shout out to Mike Sauerbaugh for getting in there, mixing it up. He got that 1 game suspension and an undisclosed fine. But, coaches getting in there, fighting and stuff like that. I just think that it was hilarious. I'm sorry, it's kind of not funny, but it was 15 minutes of chaos, where people was trying to figure out what's going on. Jace also says that we got Bud Crawford at shortstop. And then George says the Josh Bell trade was a salary dump for the Wahoos. Bell had a $16 million option for next season, and he says that. I can't see the last, that if he was still with us. So we know the Guardians really ain't trying to pay nobody. So yeah, I guess that was a salary dump. But he's going out and he's playing for the Marlins, and you needed bats like him, like his, that everything he brought to the table. So I don't really know what to say about my Guardians right now because it's depressing. It really is. And they were pretty much at the same mark, except for, they were leading the division last year. So we're
Yes.
at the point where we can't continue to say, well, this is just May. This is just April. They're going to be able to, their bats are going to come alive. No, we're at the end of the season. So, we have 2 months of the season left. And right now, they're not doing the things that they need to be doing to be a winning baseball team and also win the division. So, hats off to Minnesota. They go out and do what they needed to do. You thought that the Guardians, would be able to do something against them, but I just see more losses coming right now. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, Brandy. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
United and 95.9 FM WOVU, Our Voices United, Burtonville Car Community Radio. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady.
All right, welcome back to Her in a Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I got Brandy Fairfax with me. No Eddie today, but that's okay. So we were talking a little bit of baseball, and we had noted the rest of the August schedule, and that was going to be tough for them. But I also want to go into September schedule as well. So they're going to be facing Tampa Bay to start off September. So that's going to be a tough series. So we have Tampa Bay here, and then we have Tampa Bay away. So that's going to be something that's going to be kind of scary or whatever. Jay Ness did say that he definitely thinks that the end of the season is going to be tight. So I feel that I don't feel like it's going to be tight at all. I feel like Minnesota is going to run away with it, be based on the schedule that we have and what we're facing. George says, "Watch will get the draw to face Savali in Tampa this weekend." Probably so. So I wouldn't be shocked and surprised about that. And he'll probably pitch his best game ever. So that's going to be highly unfortunate. But yeah. 3-game series with them, yeah, he'll probably be pitching one of those. Todd Teal, what's up, Todd? We see you out there. But Brandy, I was just saying at the beginning of September, they face Tampa Bay again, so that's going to be something that's going to be tough for them. Then they have Minnesota after that for a 3-game series. Then they have the LA Dodgers. So the Dodgers ain't that great, but Shohei Ohtani usually plays so against us. So that could be some winnable games right there. Then they go to San Francisco. So that's going to be tough, going on the road and stuff like that. I think San Francisco is a middling team. Check the NL West, see where they're at. NL West. So,
you said San Francisco?
Yeah, they play the Giants. So the Giants are 62-51. So they're up there a little bit. Then after that, they face Texas, which kicked their butt not too long ago. So I don't think that that's probably going to be that much of a winnable series for them. Then they face KC, so they should be able to, get some games out of them. And then they face the Baltimore Orioles, who are kind of beasting right now. We just talked that they won 70 games. So I anticipate some losses there. And then they face Cincinnati again, so the Battle of Ohio, and then they face Detroit at the end of September. So they have a very, very tough schedule coming up, I believe. So I guess I'm kind of over it, so to say.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the games that we have remaining is a tougher schedule compared to Minnesota. So I think that's why they'll be able to take the division.
Yeah, that's true. And it seems like Minnesota just keeps on winning. Last night they spanked Detroit 8-0 while the Guardians lost. So they just put themselves even further behind in this division. So I don't think it's going to go that well down the stretch. But you never know what happens. They can get right time. I just don't believe that they have the talent to do so right now. They don't have the talent, and also they don't have the experience. Not a ton of veteran leadership. I guess you got Cole Calhoun, who's been in the league for 10 years. You got him. You got Jose. So you got Jose, who is a leader in the clubhouse as well. But you don't have a ton of veterans in there. You have a couple that's been in the league for a few years, but tried and true veterans who've been in the major leagues for a little bit of time, you don't really have. You have a lot of youth, and you're asking a lot of them. Last year they came up, you had 14 players come up, and they did their thing, but this year not so much. So this is a team that doesn't hit for power. All your outfielders, none of them are really contributing with home runs or anything like that. Miles Straw does not hit for power, zero home runs. I don't know how you're a Major League Baseball player with zero home runs. So you can't really count on him offensively. You can count on him defensively. But it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad.
Yeah,
He's,
I think we
he's
talked about last year, especially towards the end of that lineup, we kept talking how we needed somebody, and that's what we thought Josh Bell was for.
Yeah. Yeah, and Josh Bell took a little bit of time to come on, but I guess they were ready to move past him. So, this is an organization that kind of stays loyal to players, but not at this time. But I felt like he was turning a corner and he was playing a lot better.
I thought so too. I felt like he was just finding his footing and be able to, hit that ball. So I think the
Yeah.
trade came at unfortunate timing, but I guess, they're probably looking at it more next season, like George said, having that $16 million option next year for him.
Yeah. So, best of luck to him. Really last year he wasn't even here for a full season, but best of luck to him, and maybe he can help the Marlins or what have you. So, are you ready for some football, Brandy?
Oh, of course. I'm so ready for it.
Football is officially here now. We talked about it being here last week, but it took the game to take place for it
Hmm.
to start ramping up because just in a couple days, the Browns play the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, it's preseason week 1. We're here.
Yeah, so I'm just like, wow, so for the next 6 months, until February, our life is going to be consumed by football. And I think that's a great thing. Did you get a chance to watch the Hall of Fame game?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What are your thoughts about Joe Thomas going into the Hall of Fame?
I think it's well deserved. I think, a lot of Browns fans are excited. He played very well for the Browns the whole time he was here. So I'm not surprised. I figured he'd be in it.
Yeah, first ballot Hall of Famer. My only thing is, he went through so many quarterbacks, and I'm not sure if that's because of his play. A lot of people will say it's not, but your left tackle is your blind side tackle, and he went through 20 quarterbacks. So did he really do his job, or I don't know.
Right.
uh,
Hard.
George has a comment right quick. He said, a majority of our series starting after the All-Star break have teams with winning records. Minnesota has more of a cream puff schedule from the time of the All-Star break to the end of the season. But that facing the Wahoos in their 6 games out of 9 could be interesting. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. But George, and I want to ask you this: do you think they'll be out of it by the time they meet up with the Twins because their schedule is so hard? So if you can answer that for me, please, and then we'll go back to some football. But yeah, so happy for Joe Thomas. They had a great turnout. A ton of people from Cleveland to support him. So Cleveland Kate got a chance to cover that for Archer football and WOVU. So she was down there. Have you met Cleveland Kate? Oh yeah, you met Cleveland Kate. Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know what I'm tripping. But she got a chance to go down there and cover it, and she said it was just amazing. She was like all the Browns fans there and stuff like that. And I think the reason why we got the Hall of Fame game is because Joe Thomas went in. So I guess the teams that play usually are teams that people in the Hall of Fame have been on. So I guess that's how they decide, who plays or not. So,
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, that's kind of cool. So, it
Yeah,
is
because
what it is. They went out. Huh?
second time. I saw it was the Jets' second time only playing in the game, and then it was the Browns' sixth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know we hadn't played in the Hall of Fame game that much, but it had been like 24 years since we played.
Yeah, I think it was 1999 the Browns were
Yep.
last in it, and I think
Yep.
it was 92 was the last time for the Jets. So it's been a while for both teams.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. So, Aaron Rodgers was in the house. He did not play. Do you like Aaron Rodgers? Because he's just so unlikable.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't really know. He's kind of just like there for me almost.
What'd you say?
I said he's kind of just almost there.
Yeah, he's super douchey. I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. A fan of the player, but not a fan of the person.
Right.
He's just so unlikable, and that is pretty much the general consensus among the media as well. So he's not a good guy. But it is what it is. Brandy, what is your thoughts about the Hall of Fame game? How do you think the Browns performed?
I'd say they did pretty well. I think, a lot of people saw good things out of Brown's rookie QB Robinson that people didn't really expect. I think a
Mm,
lot of people were surprised of how he was able to play. So, that was good to see, just to see that we have depth at the QB position, because I feel like we haven't had that a lot, especially in the past few years. So that was good to see. And I think we are going to see more consistency on the defensive side. A lot of times last year they were getting lost in the zone defense. So I
mm.
think we'll be playing more man to man with Schwartz, being the coordinator. But I think, we're not going to see as much of those big plays being given up.
Okay. George says they could be out of it by the time the start of the season, by the time the start at the rate they're playing now. And he says, thank God for football and the Browns and the ever expanding Big Ten and the demise of the Pac-12. All about the Benjamins. So yeah, that's something we didn't get a chance to talk about was the expansion. But Brandy, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Her in a Huddle, WOVU and 95.9 FM. Remember, you still have time to cast your ballot. Polls are open until 7:30, so you got a little bit, almost 45 minutes or so to get in and cast your ballot today. Is a very important day. WOVU, well, not WOVU, I'm speaking for myself right now, but we encourage you to vote no on issue one because this is important for the state of Ohio and the rest of the country as well. Brandy, did you get a chance to vote yet?
I did. I went right before the show, got my.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see you. I lost my sticker. I was kind of mad about it, but I know that you're in Lake County, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I got a chance to meet our county executive when I was out voting the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do y'all have county executives out there or like commissioners or what do y'all have out there
Yeah, we
in
have commissioners.
Okay, yeah, we used to have commissioners here, but then I guess a couple of them was corrupt, so they stopped having county commissioners, and then they brought in a county executive, so they kind of changed how they did things. And I went to go vote on Sunday, and the line was wrapped around the voting facility, and there was this man going up and making speeches and talking and thanking everybody for coming out and voting. And it was funny because I was right in front of his nephew and his nephew's girlfriend. So, I got a chance to introduce myself, talk to him for a little bit. And it's funny because I knew his opponent. I used to coach his daughter in field hockey. And I was telling him that, but I voted for Chris. So it was just kind of awesome getting to meet him because I never got a chance. Well, I met one of our commissioners before. I used to coach her daughter in field hockey as well. So,
Oh, wow.
but it was cool getting a chance to, meet him or whatever. So that was really cool. So, viewer listeners, go out and vote, please. People died for the right for you to be able to do so. And this vote is so important. So please go out and do that by 7:30. So back to football. So besides Dorian Thompson Robinson standing out, was anybody that you felt out as well?
Um, I wouldn't say necessarily stuck out, but I will mention Anthony Schwartz, and I think we still haven't. You already know. I think we still haven't seen any improvement from him, and I was kind of hoping that we would, at the start of the beginning of this season. So I'm not sure, by the time August 29th comes around, if he'll still be with the Browns or not.
I'm like, how is this dude not cut yet?
I know we haven't
That,
seen, him really catch much of anything.
and he fumbled.
Hmm.
I'm just like, when is this guy actually going to do something? Like, I don't know how he's still on the team, but kind of feel like this regime is kind of reluctant to let go of their draft picks because if they do, that's in essence saying they failed and they picked badly. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the ego pride thing, but he should be gone from this team and give somebody else a roster spot who can actually go out and perform their job because right now he's not performing his job. So
Yeah.
I'd rather that roster spot go to somebody else who can be a better player for y'all. He can't even possess the ball for you. He can't catch it. He can't possess it. You say he's fast. You can't coach speed, and I get that, but he can't do anything outside of be fast. You can't trust him with the ball. You throw the ball to him, throw the ball to him in the chest between the numbers, and it bounces right off of his chest. I don't know if there's some mental, things going on, if he's nervous, because it's just like, you don't play at all, then you play and it's all this pressure on you and you fail. So I don't know if it's one of those things, but he got to go. I was saying that last year because this is his third year in the league. I think.
Yeah, it does suck because I think the one thing the Browns do need at the receiver position is the speed, which he has. But if you're not able to catch the ball, then it's useless.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then they got a game coming up on Friday, so they're kind of full swing or whatever. They said so. We have two injuries. Alex Wright and Isaiah Thomas have suffered some defensive ends, some knee injuries, and they will miss some extended time. But kind of so they're saying that they're going to be back during the season. So that's kind of sucks for this team as you have the defense trying to get a hold of itself. So that's kind of messed up that you're losing yourself to injuries. And then last year, we had issues with our linebacking core. Almost every linebacker was injured. So that's not good as you try to get this defense under Jim Schwartz and produce better results than you got in 2022. So, Brandy, how much do you think is going to affect this team with those defensive ends being out?
I mean, yeah, I think it'll affect them, pretty significantly. With Jadeveon Clowney leaving, these guys were really, the next man up. And, I think it's hard to lose, especially two guys at the same position, no matter what position it is. So I think, that is a big spot to fill. Obviously we'll have Miles Garrett, but obviously
Hmm.
another person on the other side is going to have to be able to step up while these guys are out. They don't have an exact timetable. They do say they'll be back early in the season, but you never know what that means or if they'll have any setback in their recovery.
Right, because it says extended amount of time. I'm thinking extended amount of time. I'm thinking weeks, not at the beginning of the season, because I think that they both had surgery too.
Yeah, it did say that they both had arthroscopic surgery. They had it today.
Yeah, at UH. So I wonder why they don't use Cleveland Clinic. They probably have
That's interesting. I wonder.
they probably have a contract with UH or whatever. So
Probably.
yeah, UH is a teaching hospital, affiliated with Case and stuff like that. So, who knows? But yeah, they had that with UH today. So, best of luck to them. Hopefully they get a chance to rest up and possibly come back. So, that's not good to start injuries with the beginning of the season, but hopefully they can be on that timetable and come back and actually contribute to this team because this defense needs a lot of help. And if you want to see any improvement, you got to have the players out there to be able to do it. So, also heard Deshaun is doing a lot better in the red zone than he has been doing lately. So, he struggled against our defense, which is, woo, that's a good thing. But, our defense is not, known to be great. So, there was some concerns about his struggles in the red zone against them. But it looks like he's been getting better and better, and that's probably a little bit of comfortability, being used to the new offense that he's working in, because let's be honest, he only had a few games last year and he was terrible. So you need marked improvement from Deshaun Watson in order to be able to do anything with this team. So, I think that improvement is coming along slowly but surely, but you just need him to do more. So you need him to be able to take advantage of his gifts and contribute this year to this team.
Yeah, I agree. It is hard, hearing how he struggled. It's like, well, did our defense get better
Yeah.
or, what is happening there? So I'm excited, for to see more of the starters in the preseason to see how they're going to perform.
Yeah, that's a question that you ask yourself. Is our defense better? Or, and that's a great thing. But,
Right.
I don't want him to struggle against other defenses as well. And that's the thing that, is a little scary. So, hats off to him for improving, looking a lot better, in practice and stuff like that, because we need him. As Deshaun goes, we go. And, we put a substantial amount of money in him for him to play, at a top level. So that's something that's very important because you got a lot of money locked up into him, and he is supposed to be your future. So, that's a good thing that he's improving. So I love that. And I don't think he's going to get any playing time against Washington at all. I mean, I prefer for him to get in for, a series, but, they're not going to get in, for a series probably. I hate that week after preseason starts that you have that week without football. That's I hate that. I don't know what made them institute that rule, but that rule kind of sucks.
Right. I guess maybe because we don't have the fourth preseason game
Right.
anymore, maybe. But I hate it too. I'm like, just give us week one. We're ready.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, 3 preseason games and week 1, let's go. But yeah, no, I guess, in that break is highly needed, especially, for injuries and all that other stuff. So I guess I'll take it. I guess I see
You
why
know,
they do
it's different this year because they used to have the staggered cut dates, and now this year is the first time where they just have the one date at the end of August.
it. Yeah. I don't know what Roger Goodell is over there doing.
I know I like the staggered cut dates, I think, better, but I guess it gives, guys more opportunity in preseason because, sometimes guys were already cut, before preseason games. So I guess it gives guys a chance, to prove themselves that they should make the team.
Yeah. So cut down days are coming because I think they got 93 on the roster right now, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere like 90. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then, you get down to your final 53. So, was there really any cuts made after the end of after that game or no?
No, I don't think there were any.
Okay. So cuts are going to be coming soon to get down because they got a certain amount of time that they got to get down to the next round of cuts and stuff like that. So they're coming slowly but surely. So it'll be interesting to see who make this team in different positions and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to this season because you have that potential. You don't have a super tough schedule, but you have that potential to be great. So Brandy, it is 6:59, so we're going to go ahead and end the show. But make sure you go out and vote. And you've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.